Must be Wednesday night. It's Family Matters with the one and only Kevin Petersen.
Hey, man, what's happening?
It's been one of those days, but I mean, any day that I can end it with Kevin Petersen, it's a really, really good day. And do me a favor, he loves it when we creep. I creep on him all the time. I stalk him. Go on Instagram, Kevin W. Petersen. He's got all kinds of stuff. He's still giving out free resources. I mean, I've tried to tell him that's not how you do it. In this industry, everyone charges for everything, but Kevin's like, no, I want to do this all for free. Go on chronocope.us. Got all kinds of, again, free resources if you want to talk to Kevin directly. He loves talking to people. I call him all the time, and he answers shockingly. He's got this amazing Facebook group, the Chronocope, Chronocope. It's private. It's families talking with families. Reach out, and I'm sure he can get you onto that page as well. But chronocope.us, just all kinds of free resources, and this is why I call him the Family Whisperer. It's catching on. I heard someone else call him the Family Whisperer on another call we did this week. So it is catching on. Kevin, keep doing the good work.
I shall do my best, sir. I shall do my best. I shall continue to follow your lead. Is what I will do. You are my guide.
Yeah.
You are my guide.
Well, I hope you get muddy because I might lead you into some swamps and stuff. So, get those boots on.
Let's get it, baby. I'm ready. Let's get it.
This is an interesting set of questions. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Stay tuned to some interesting questions. Our son has been experimenting with substances, which we have told him he is not allowed to do while living with us. He is 19 and suggested that he start kratom therapy. Research has some positive reviews, she was saying. Do you have any insight, advice, or anything on kratom therapy?
Yes, I'm a hard no on the kratom therapy because what we're talking about is, first of all, it's an unregulated drug. It's no, just no. If he, let me see the question again.
He's been experimenting. So obviously, I think has been using on and off. So
he suggested kratom therapy. Yeah. So let's be clear. There's no such thing. And so that's just bogus. What I would say is that if he wants to get some help and get some therapy, let's go find him a psychiatrist. Let's find him a therapist. I'm all for therapy and I'm all for psychiatry. I think that's great. By the way, what I would tell you, mom and dad, is that first of all, you have the right to set the rules. It's your house. You can dictate what goes on and what doesn't go on. So you can lay down the boundary and say, hey, in our house, there's no drugs, no alcohol. So that's not acceptable. And, if you have a job and you can go live where the hell you want to live, great. Knock yourself out. We respect your wishes. If you want help, we're happy to help you. Same thing with, so three categories: no drugs, no alcohol, got to get a job or go to school, and then family behavior. So, this might be one of those things where it's like, well, no, we're not down for kratom therapy, but we're totally open to getting you help for therapy for what's going on. So offer him a solution while holding your boundaries. And that's all available in my book.
This is called a segue. I'm going to do a producer here. This is what you just talked about. 19-year-old son lives at home, refuses to get a job. We have offered to pay for college, but he flunked all of his classes last year. He openly admits to abusing THC. Is kicking him out the only option? I think a lot of families are in this. Like, you can put the boundary in. You can say, living here, you can't. But these kids, and this 19-year-old in particular, they're being honest, and they're just saying, yeah, I'm abusing THC. What is kicking out the option?
No, you don't have to kick him out. What you can do is sit him down and say, and by the way, everything I'm talking about is in my books. So let's just be clear. Go to Amazon, buy my book. I mean, let's just start there, okay? And what you got to do is sit him down and say, hey, I get it. You're 19 years old. It's your life. You can do whatever you want, but it's our house. So we have the right to say, if in order to live in our house, enjoy the benefits of living in our home, This is what you got to do. And the way you go through that is you start drug testing, but you're going to give them a solution as well and say, if you're having trouble with this, then, we'll help you find help, and you got to get a job. You got to go to, it's the same thing as last time. Got to go to job, got to go to school, got to go to school, got to get a job. And then, we have some basic family foundational behaviors that we expect. You got to clean up after yourself. We eat dinner together. We don't hide in our rooms. You have some chores, and that's, you would do that if I lived at your house. You would, so your son doesn't get a pass because he's 19. And I'm not saying you got to throw him out. I'm saying that it's, you got to sit him down and have a heart-to-heart conversation with him and start laying down some boundaries. And then if he's not willing to do these things, it's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, then you don't get a car. We're not paying your bills, no cell phone, just these aren't the options. And if that doesn't work, then we go to plan B and we start talking about treatment.
Now you have someone that they paid for college last year. She's, I think, interested in, he's always, oh, I got a new thing, a new kick, do they continue paying for colleges? It's obviously this one kind of went through, sounds like he kind of flunked or misled. I think more and more families are kind of at this state. Do they want to see their son or daughter go back to, where are you at with the college kind of education? It's someone that's already burned that bridge.
Well, I'll tell you. Just had this conversation the other day. And I said, here's the thing. I'll tell you a funny story. When I went back to college when I was 27, and I had a year and a half left, and I had like a 1.1 GPA, and I'd lied to my parents about everything, and they never caught me. They never looked, but I got a job working on campus, and my job was helping parents pay for the bill, offering options of how to pay. And one day, I noticed this one mom was no longer paying her bill, and I called her up. I said, "Hey, I'm worried that something's gone wrong." Or she's like, "Oh, no, I'm so sorry. I forgot to call you." My daughter came home with all C's. And I'm not paying for all C's. I told her, if you want all C's, you can go to community college or get a job as a waitress. But if you want me to pay for it, you have to get B's or better. And she was just on top of it. And she was like, the lesson there is, we don't hand out checks for the next semester till we see all the grades. And we make it clear, oh no, we're not paying for this. We're not paying for anything less than all B's. And if that's not something you can coordinate, you can live at home. You can go to junior college. We'll get you a tutor. We'll help you get back on track. But no, we're not spending that kind of money for you to go just basically party and goof off the whole time. And that's me narking out my own people. That's what I did. And so I'm just telling you, that's the solution, is setting that boundary.
Yeah. Perfect. Here's something you probably dealt with in Colorado. My husband and I have been married for 5 years, and he has always smoked weed and edibles. The past month, he's starting to believe the cops are watching the house, and he states that he is in the mob. It goes on and on. There's a lot of so-called delusions. I don't think she called it delusions. She said, I look out the window, there's not even a car on the block, all this other stuff. I think you and I know what is kind of going on here, but she's looking for advice.
So what we're experiencing here is what we call cannabis or marijuana-induced psychosis, which, by the way, is what happens, when people use marijuana on a regular basis. Let me be clear, in Colorado, the statistics were very straightforward and very easy to understand. Because the way it was pitched in Colorado was like, oh, no. We don't want people to be able to get blazed. We just want that guy who had a hard work week to come home Friday night, sit on his front porch and smoke a little J. That's all. No big deal. Okay, that's not what's going on. All the statistics have shown that you can buy 2 ounces of pot a day. I don't know if you know how much 2 ounces of pot is. It's about. I
do, actually.
I know you do.
I used to live by ounces once in a life.
So, the thing there is that it's a quite this, and the pot today is like, nuclear powered. So let's be clear. I know what's going on. He's not just like occasionally helping himself to have a a little toke or a little edible, he's getting blazed all day, every day. And because that's what the statistics have shown is people that use marijuana use it pretty much all day, every day. Yeah, there's an outlying percentage of people that just use it recreationally once in a while, no big deal. But that's really not who's buying it and using it. So that being said, it's time for you to start setting boundaries and just saying, hey, I love you. I want to be your wife, but I'm not okay with this behavior. So look where we are, right back to the same thing. We were same system. I'm not okay with this behavior. I love you and I want to help you. And if his response is, F you, I'm not doing it, then you got to take it to the next level. But at the very least, have that initial conversation and say, hey, I love you. I'm really worried about you and I'm not okay with this behavior. And until it changes, we're going to have some changes in our house. And so it's really the most important thing is that the family, this isn't going to change by you nagging him and demanding that he do something different. This is going to change by you changing your behavior and the way you approach it. And that's going to force him to change his behavior. I know that sounds completely backwards. Trust me, that's exactly how it works.
Oh, man. All right. This last one, I mean, you do this, you do a world-renowned, internationally known. Sometimes this is, I checked, this isn't, spam or anything. Our son is living in sober living and being asked to leave due to a woman he met at a meeting accusing him of hitting her and being too rough during sex. While in treatment, he was accused as well. Now, there goes on. There's the ex-husband. The son's dad sounds to me has some checkered past with domestic violence. Now, the mom is insistent that this is just since this last, sobriety and recovery has kind of opened another side to him. You got this?
Oh, I got it. I got it.
You know what? Can I just say, like, this is the difference in this show. Like, when me gets really squirrely and kind of, I'm like, how am I going to ever pitch this to Kevin? 4 words into, Kevin's like, you know what? I got this, check mark.
Okay, let's go. Okay. He's in treatment, right? Is that
he's in sober living. He did go to treatment.
He's in sober living.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we need to do with your son is get him a therapist that is called a CSAT, Certified Sex Addiction Therapist, and that's they're 12-step based. The CSAT program is 12-step based, and I would say that would be the best choice for him right now for his protection, because this is going to go south fast. He's going to get a reputation in AA for being inappropriate with women, and we don't want that. We want it. Okay, so we need to teach him what is correct and what is available and what is appropriate, what's acceptable behavior. And there's also, by the way, there's lots of people, there's not people, what am I looking for? There are groups available. There are therapeutic groups available to help men and women learn how to have appropriate sexual relations and appropriate relationships. And that's what has to happen. So, and I appreciate the fact that you told me that there's a history in the family, because I'm going to guarantee you that's where it comes from. This is a witnessed behavior, and it's a learned behavior. And so, I would also recommend, so let's talk about some of the books that we need to start talking about and some of the things we need to look at. One of the first ones I would say is called The Body Keeps the Score, which by Bethel Vanderkop. It's a famous book on trauma, but he's acting out his trauma. I mean, I don't know this kid. I mean, I'm shooting from the hip here, but I mean, I just happen to know this territory fairly well. That I would think that a trauma therapist, a CSAT therapist, and really digging in. And the other answer is only men's meetings for the time being. No co-ed meetings. And I don't think dating is appropriate. He needs to learn how to do those things appropriately first, and then we can roll into that space. So that's the quickie version. And I would encourage this family, if they need help on this and they can email me, they can text me, whatever, they can send me a message, a DM through Instagram or TikTok, and I'm happy to help them and point them in the right direction, because the thing that I fear the most is that if this young man doesn't get help, what's going to end up happening is that he's going to get into a situation where there's going to be some legal trouble following him. And also, I'm concerned about the women. Don't get me wrong. I'm extremely concerned about anyone that he's interacting with, but I also would like to help him solve his problem. So don't get me wrong. I'm not like, oh my gosh, those poor girls. It's like, no, that's completely inappropriate behavior. And I totally understand where it's coming from. And let's be clear, a lot of times when you sober people up, their their addictions or their inappropriate behaviors start to come out because the alcohol and the drugs were, tampering them or masking them. So that's a big one.
Is that true? I mean, you always hear it. I'm not saying like a general statement that I've always heard, but I mean, I see it enough. You get sober, and for me, I'll just speak on for someone that's emotionally numb, and you go through recovery, and you start feeling feelings. Really, it's for someone like me, and that has to walk through that. Feeling feelings is a whole new experience, mind you. That's probably why we're running to our substances as our miserable solution to not feel those feelings. So that's a legitimate, thing that people go through, especially early in recovery.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, let's be honest. It's not just feeling feelings, but having feelings. It's like, oh, that's what that is. I didn't know. I didn't realize that was something people did. I mean, having any kind of, relationship where you're actually, engaged in the other person's well-being or concerned about the other person's, reality. It's like, what? Why? Wait, I don't understand. Why would I do that? Another thing too, and this is kind of one of those legends of sobriety that we talk about in our world, is the age at which you start using drugs and alcohol is generally when you stop maturing emotionally and growing, at all levels, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. So let's say that was 14 or 15, and this kid, let's say he's 25. So what you got is a 25-year-old man or a 14-year-old boy in a 25-year-old man's body, and he's acting out, and he has probably no idea why or what he's doing. And again, doesn't excuse it. I'll be clear, this behavior is unacceptable, completely unacceptable, doesn't excuse it. And he needs to get help with that ASAP. So,
and I loved what you said. There's two things that that are on my calendar, and I've even, built trips around coming back home. And that's my 2 men's meetings that I go to every single week. And I remember my sponsor getting me hooked into both of the meetings and so forth. And I remember, it's only, wait a couple of years, and then, I'm going to go start, I'm getting away from this men's group. I'm just telling you, these guys are my accountability. They're my rocks. I mean, going in, I can't say enough about same gender kind of meetings. And women's meetings, I would assume, are the same. I've heard it from them. I mean, my men's meetings are my 2 rocks. So I love what you said with the men's meeting.
Yeah, I mean, this guy needs some guidance and some counsel from men that can sit him down and be like, yeah, because I guarantee you in his mind, he thinks this is okay. And so what we have to do is sort of get to that and get other men to be responding to him and saying, no, this is not okay. This is really bad. And let's figure something out. Inappropriate. Well, let's find a solution. Let's help this kid and let's get him a solution.
What a healthy relationship looks like. Absolutely. So, All right. I think we've done the job. I mean, I'm still amazed. Like, I was all hitty giddy. I mean, and Kevin just, sticks to the plans. This is why he's the family whisperer. He's got a plan in place. He's got 2 books. He should be working on his 3rd book. I needed for you to push out the 3rd book, but chronichope.us, go see him, go check him out, all kinds of free resources. And DM us, reach out directly. All these go directly to the people that sent us a message. But, again, we do this every Wednesday. So, we will allow Kevin to clock out, but we'll ask him to clock right back in next week, Kevin.
All right, brother. Sounds good to me.
All righty.